There we go. Record is on. Did that show up on your screen, everyone?
Yep.
Okay, good. So in this case, this wouldn't have worked out for his strategy because, for ours it would have worked out nicely. Look, we got a +9 up there, red scorecard, volume 99, super sniper arrow. We got the gold reversal arrow right there. We had divergence, a couple of, let's see, 3 candles before we had divergence. We were right in the upper Bollinger Bands, the reversal zones right there. Nice, nice, nice. Our fast moving EMA changed the candle before. Our reversal candle was right in fast EMAs changed. Can't tell whether the PSAR flipped then or not. It doesn't look like it. Looks like the PSAR is probably under the reversal one. No, it must have been because that would have gone through there and it would have reversed the PSAR. So the PSAR did reverse, but it must be under the super sniper arrow. Yeah, it would have reversed because that went straight through there. As soon as it touches that PSAR, it's going to flip. Um, So all our rules were a good entry, and down here we had divergence there. We were overbought back here. We're in the reversal zone. Red arrow, red scorecard, reversal candle, trend direction turn red, and we've got a bullet point right there for more crossovers going on in the background. Snake turn from blue to red, right? That candle before. So yeah, that was an entry. How quickly you got in on that, I don't know. If you waited for candle close, you would have got in right down here. And then there was TP1 right there. Um, but there's our trend line right there, the one that changes from red to blue. Not really sure what these little red ones are here. Not really sure why they're appearing. I can see why they appeared there because we're crossing through, but I'm not really sure what this one is here. Glitch in the matrix. There's another one there as well. Look at that. No, and there's another one there as well. Hmm. Okay, I'll have to look at that and see what's going on there. But going on Michael's strategy, he would not have got in until price crossed here, in which case he was already at TP1. And as they get out at TP1, they couldn't have been in that trade at all. We did get a big reversal here. The snake changed color here, but we didn't actually cross over till back here, which was actually fairly safe because all of this was, you wouldn't have got in this one, but this one technically was blue arrow, blue candle, and blue bullet point there, and snake turn blue. But again, our trend direction saved us there because it stayed red all the way up until this one. And even that went sideways there, but then it took off after that. So Sniper Later Snake crossed the 50% line, which is where the trend direction is. It's on the 50. So it did cross right there, and then up it went. We didn't get a signal apart from that super sniper arrow back there. But that, if you got in there, you shouldn't have got in there because no trend direction. That was the one to get in on. We did paint a little red one there. So if you missed that, you could have got in on that one. And then up we go. And we would have been targeting. Oh, look at that. R4 is our target. Look at that. Can't make that up, guys. So you would have got in here. You would have had your stop loss. Let's say you got in on this candle here. Your stop loss could have been right on that PSAR there. If you wanted to go a little bit lower to make sure you cleared those swing lows right here, wouldn't have been bad. PSAR's right there. It's almost on the R2 as well. So it's a pretty strong level of support, whichever way you look at it there. Haven't even gone to the higher time frames yet, but that's still pretty good level of support. Our entry was pretty much right on the R3 there. So that's pretty good. Entry could have been anywhere around here. And then your other one there, that would now be your target there. Oh, on R4. Although we didn't hit it, now we got red candle and we've got red outline on a grey candle, so we actually didn't hit it. We would have got out there. Got divergence as well here. Snake turned red, almost at overbought. Even though this is blue, you got an argument that you could stay in. The cloud is still, the bottom one is blue, but the top of the cloud is red. So it actually would have paid to get out there and wait to see if there's a re-entry. It's just a little pullback before continuing up, but you could have got out there. Would have made some nice pips on that one. But yeah, on Michael's strategy, he probably wouldn't have taken that one because TP1 and the trend level was at the same height. Remember the trend level, this trend line is in here because it's a very, very strong level, and it will, in a lot of cases, if you do wait for it, it will save you from some of the fake outs that we get. It's another confirmation. It's a very strong confirmation. It is the 55 EMA. I put it in because Jim wanted it in there, but I've grown to love it. And it is a great, great, great indication. A lot of people use the 50 and the 200. We have the 55 and the 233. This is a 233 down here, the purple. And then the gold is the 987. So the 987 is going to be a magnet. Yeah, see, it came and hit the 987 here, came and hit, it's gone away, tried to get down here. So it wouldn't be looking at longer term, it would not be out of the question for this to come back down and meet the 987 later on sometime today. Could be quick, could take a long time. It's got to come back down and break the structure here, obviously. And it's broken the structure here for going up. So too early to say yet what's going on there. Does anyone have any questions or setups they want to go through or to look at different pairs, by the way? Anything that they saw or had some issues with or anything? Did everyone manage to get on yesterday's higher time frame trading live session on GFU that I did? Anyone have any questions on that?
Hey John, I just grabbed 350 pips on gold when the sniper later and lined up with the candles. I took it right to the top of the previous structure.
Nice.
So we rejected the purple EMA, and
Yep.
then we got our first blue candle and the trend direction turned blue right there, and then just took it right to the top, zero drawdown.
Very nice. Yeah, see, that's a perfect setup there. That's a great setup, Jim. Now, why did you keep that to yourself?
I was concentrating.
Yeah, that's a great setup. Super sniper arrow there. It's on a grey candle. Can't do anything. Grey candle can't do anything. And look at that, guys. First blue candle did a lot of things. Look at that. First of all, we bounced off the purple here. We wicked down to the gold here, first of all. We can't break the purple, second of all. We got a super sniper arrow. Our snake turned blue, but our trend direction didn't. This is grey, can't do anything. This is grey, can't do anything. There's our blue candle, blue arrow, PSAR flipped. We already got the super sniper arrow. We already bounced up, pinged off the gold. Couldn't break the purple. Right here is our trend direction, right on the the blue arrow, blue candle, PSAR flipped, crossed the trend level, Jim's level right there at the same time, boom, and off it went. What do we see on we didn't have anything there. We just went straight up there. Now here we are in our reversal zone over here with our Bollinger Band reversal zone. So we've got to be careful here. Um, yeah, the red outline on the blue candle is not good. And then we get a gray transition. So if you didn't get out here, you would have got out here. Definitely would have got out here with your red candle. Although you're not anywhere near your stop loss. If you were trailing your stop loss up along your PSARs, you would still be in, but you could have got maximum pips out there quite easily. As soon as you got in that reversal zone there, finger on button, we could get a reversal or a pullback, and we could be out there pretty much any time. Although we do have an R3 target up there that could possibly get to. But again, if you're running, depending how you run your Fibonacci, don't forget, my fibs are, I do run of color, so I don't go from the bottom here. I do this run of color here. So my fib starts there, and then we'll go up to there. And now look, we're coming down. We broke the 5. We're just about to hit the 618 here. So right now I could have stayed in all this. I mean, I wouldn't because we got a super sniper arrow. We got red arrows. We would have got out earlier. But what we would do with the Fibonacci is if it bounced right there on the 618, we could get in again for another entry to go back up. If it stays below that 618, that would not be a valid entry. Because see, we're still on blue down here, although now we have divergence, so it actually could break back up again. Well, no, divergence really was this coming down, so it's not going up again. Yeah, so that's what I would do with a 618. If it bounced up there and did a continuation going up, that is possibly a re-entry there. This is the 1 minute. No, it's broken the 618. No, maybe not. And we've still got half a minute left to do that. So that's the Fibonacci. My fibs are different than everyone else. I haven't done a training on the fibs yet, but my fibs are, you want to take a screenshot of that, guys. They're my fib settings. Okay.
Hey John,
Yeah.
on your fib strategy, which I'm familiar with, run of color. Now on Sniper Pro though, you're getting colors that the algorithm considers bullish, but there's still on like a regular chart other bullish candles in that run.
Yeah.
So are you adjusting it to only be the blue candles on Sniper Pro, or would you include the actual bullish candles on a regular chart?
If you're looking at a regular chart, then yes, you could do that. Obviously, on Sniper Pro, we don't have any way to look at that. Except, has everyone taken a screenshot of those settings? Okay. Um, what you can do on these, Jim, is keep an eye out for the outline on the candles because if they're blue candles with a blue outline, I would include them. If you get a blue candle with a red outline, that would preclude them. So that's how I adjust it slightly on Sniper Pro. Obviously, I'm not counting gray candles. I'm not counting reversal candles. Um, but on a run of color, Like for instance here, that one, if I was doing a fib going down here, I would not do that one, and I could only do these three, 1, 2, 3, because that one there had a different color outline. So that's how I adjust it slightly on Sniper Pro. They got to be run of color, and the outline of the candle has to be the same. Has to be blue or green. So some of these, this one's got a green outline, this one's got a blue outline. But if it has a red outline, can't do it. We're still bullish here because we're still above the trend line. Went blue there, we went black, red there. I mean, we're not doing anything right now, no matter what. We're not getting in any trades here. If we were looking for bullish, we would have to see, a lot of things happen. We'd have to see trend direction stay blue here. We'd have to see blue candles, blue arrows, and we'd have to see it go back. For me right now, it's broken the fib and we're out of here. But these fibs, what they do, those settings on the fibs, they go up quite high, and we can use these as TPs, especially when we don't have, you can see over here, we don't have any pivot points that are close together. So if we were looking for this to continue up, we could target these Fibonacci levels as TPs if it was going to continue up. And likewise, when you do a Fibonacci retracement going down, obviously these down here would be below, and they can be targets. We haven't done a training on the Fibonacci, but that is the basis of the of my Fibonacci settings. They're not mine. I stole them from somebody else. I'm not that clever, but I like them. I mean, they are all Fibonacci settings. They're just not a normal Fibonacci setting that you would get. You have to change them and plug them in so that you get that. But they are Fibonacci numbers, and they do go a long way, especially when you've got a super sniper arrow, and you haven't and you don't have any TP set up. And you can, I mean, I use it this way, but if you can use these Fibonacci numbers however you like. So if you prefer to use them like other people teach, you start at the bottom, you go to the top, and you put your Fibonacci in there. You can see here, we haven't broken the 618. So right now, this is telling me we still haven't, if we go from the bottom to the top, which a lot of people teach, we still haven't broken the 618 here. When we move it to mine, it's a little bit different, and we broke the 618 a long time ago. But a lot of people teach go from the bottom to the top, and then your Fibonacci would be there. There, we broke 618 there. But if it was continuing up, all these Fibonacci levels would be nice TPs to look at. So play around with that, guys. If you like those numbers, plug them in. Right now, I think each time you get out Sniper Pro, the Fibonacci's will reverse back to the standard one. So you do have to set those up on your first session. It is something that we're working on getting on the new session, but it's not top of the list in terms of priority. The alerts are more of the priority right now. So I don't know whether we'll get that Fibonacci to be able to stay. But we're hoping that, right now, the same thing happens on GFU is when you do markups, and then you get out, when you go back in again, all the markups are vanished. So obviously that's frustrating as well. So they are working on that. So maybe byproduct of that will be if you put custom fib settings in there, that they will stay as well. But right now they're not. Does anyone have questions on those fib settings, fib retracement settings? Do you use standard ones, Jim, or do you use just the regular ones, or do you have your own?
For retracement, I use the standard,
Okay.
and then for extension, pretty much the same ones you have.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. All righty. Anything else setting up that we should be looking at here? Oh, blimey. Look, there's your Dow, Jim.
Yeah, I just got in. Uh,
Oh, you so sneaky.
well, it wasn't the textbook entry there, but as soon as it crossed the purple, and I
Oh, you
got
were
in
up
right there.
here. Oh, wow. This was a better entry right here, though.
I missed all that.
Oh, okay.
I was busy on gold back then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was the entry there. You got your super sniper arrow there. PSARs are below. You're waiting for blue candle, blue arrow. We crossed the 55 right there. Our fast moving EMA turned blue. We got the blue cloud. Oh, that was a great run up there. Blue down here, blue snake. We did go oversold for a lot of that time. Wow. You were in, even though it was that oversold, Jim?
Yeah, I
I
just
mean,
really like
overbought.
the cross of the 233 had a little pullback to it, and then 40 pips up to the top of the previous wick on the left. I got out already.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, probably got out on this little candle here.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why candle patterns are so important, guys. So, look what Jim said. He got out at the top of here, this wick over here, which married nicely with that exit candle right there, if you recognize that pattern. Even this had broken right through the reversal channels on the Bollinger Band. There was a lot of, and we were overbought here. There was a lot of other nice signals there. We'd broken through the gold, we'd broken through the purple. We're on this nice super sniper arrow back here. We're above the trend level here. PSARs are well below. You could have trailed these PSARs nice and tight all the way up here. If you got in here, your original stop loss could have been up there. If you wanted to be extra safe, they would have been down at this swing low over here. As it moved up, you could have moved up these PSARs all the way up. Especially as you get near these EMAs, you can start getting really tight on your stop loss. And right here, we're right in the reversal zone. So stop loss, you can have nice and tight. Trailing, 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 trailing. Your stop loss wouldn't have been hit at all anywhere along here. When you saw R2 over here, obviously that is, an area that you'd want to be wary of. You did get TP2 right here, which we went through. Um, but then this level here that Jim identified there was nice because there's your recent swing high. You got that candle right there, which had told you to get out. Still might go higher, but again, we're still overbought like crazy over here. Um, there's nothing stopping us to getting to R3 other than this overbought right now. You could just trail tight all the way up on this on your stop loss here. Put it on R2. You still got to wherever you got in there, you'd still be in profit anyway, and you could just trail it up. see if we hit R3. That's a pretty good one. Anyone have any questions? Jump in, guys. Naz. Naz isn't doing anything. Yeah, gold, we have to wait.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, when you use the like if you're trading on the 1 minute, you use the two charts ahead to confirm your trades.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? Like, are you looking, say you're trading on the 1 minute and you're looking at the 5 minute chart. Are you looking at the 5 minute chart the whole time and then you see the movement on the 5 minute chart and then you pop to the 1 minute chart and trade on the 1 minute time, or is it opposite? You're looking at the 1 minute chart and then you see something setting up, then you look at the 5 minute chart to confirm it.
Well, what I'm usually doing when I'm starting, I'll start up at the 4 hour before I start trading to see where I'm actually at, so I can see where here my swing high is right at the R1 on the 4 hour chart. So that was back on Sunday night. That is the beginning of London session there.
Right.
So I'm keeping an eye on where that is. Then I'll drop down to the 1 hour and I'll have a look, see our R1 is still in the same place. And our 1 hour is actually giving us, on that, is giving us a sell signal. And we did actually hit TP1 here on the sell on the 1 hour. Then I'll drop down to the 15. And I'm just looking overall, where are we in terms of the total setup? Where are we down here in terms of overbought, oversold? Where's our trend direction? Where's our pivot points? I'm just like getting an overall picture of where things might be going and what I've got to keep an eye out for. And then when I start dropping down to the 5 or the 3 minute, again, I'm looking to see what's going on. So here's the 5 minute. So let's have a look at this. We got a +8 right here. So this is how I would do the 5 minute. There's our +8 right there. Okay. It just happened, 8:25. Okay. We got a blue snake change. We got 3 bullet points. We got blue trend direction. We know we're looking from the 5 minute. We know the 5 minute is looking like it's going up, and we got our +8 at 8:25. Then I'll drop down to my 1 minute to see what's happening at 8:25. And wow, can't make this stuff up here, Scott. Look, so the 1 minute we got an earlier entry back here. Okay, we know the 5 minute our entry is this dotted line here. But look at what Jim just said. He got in on this trade. You could have got in when it crossed over the yellow here, or the next candle hit the purple. So this was Jim's entry here. Well, if you saw that on the 5 minute, you would know that that was a strong entry area. If you're only looking at the 1 minute, Scott, your first thought is it's way too late to get in here. Right? I'm in my reversal zone. I'm bouncing, are we going to go through these EMAs? Are we not? I've got an R1 right here as well. Don't forget, this one hasn't painted yet, so we're still going up on this one. But if you know that the 5 minute had an entry there as you were going backwards and forwards to it, that one would have painted right there. That gives you a further confirmation that that would have been a good entry. Does that make sense, Scott?
Trying to make sense of it. Yeah, there's lots to think about and lots to analyze and lots to, but yeah, it's all about learning, right? So yeah, it's making
Yeah, so
sense.
that's how you cross-reference the higher time frames. And if you went sometimes, Jim and I use the 3 minute as well, not the 5 minute. And so again, the 3 minute, don't forget that was the entry on the 5 minute, that line there. And again, look what happened. It crossed our trend level right there. Crossed wow, you can't make this up. The sniper laser snake crossed the 50% there. So what it is these are extra confirmations for you that entry there, even though on the 1 minute might seem like a late entry, is actually confirmed on both the 3 and the 5 minute that entry there was a good entry spot if you missed coming in earlier back here.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So that's how you use the higher time frames. You're not necessarily getting in on these, although you can do. You're still using the 1 minute that you're actually trading on, but that there would give you two extra confirmations on both the 3 and the 5 minute. Both concurred that that was a good entry right there. Even though the 1 minute said your entry was back here, or possibly on this super sniper arrow, you have to wait until what? Blue arrow, blue candle was here. But it gives you an idea that, and the other thing that happened here on the 1 minute is we also crossed the mid Bollinger Band. So the gray bar, the gray line is not an EMA, it's the mid Bollinger Band. So again, when you're above the mid Bollinger Band, you're more likely to be in buy territory. When you're below the mid Bollinger Band, you're more likely to be in sell territory. So right there, a lot of things happen on the 5 minute, the 3 minute, and different things happened. This is the 5 minute. Different things happened on the 5 minute. You went up through the purple. You had your scorecard. You had your snake turn blue. You got 3 bullet points. Your trend direction turned blue. So that one there is definitely a good entry. You could possibly have said that the one before that was a good entry because that was a blue candle, blue arrow, and it went through the purple EMA, fast moving cloud turned blue, and our trend direction turned blue. And we'd already had 2 bullet points at that time on the snake. But +8 is a very strong entry for sure. So, if you see a +8 on the 5, you're going to say, oh, hold on, you got a +8 on the 5. Am I trading in? Let's jump down to the 1. Okay, yes, we can trade that. We can trade it. We just broke through above the trend level line. So we can trade it. So that's how you use the higher time frames to confirm those as extra entries. What they do is the higher time frames, the 3 and the 5 minute, when you're looking at confirmations, is can take some of the noise away on the 1 minute, Scott. So very often the 1 minute, the 1 minute is always noisier, meaning there's a lot more happening in terms of, candle colors. On the 1 minute here, you can see we've got red arrows up here. We've got, some gray candles. We've got some blue candles with red outlines, blue candles with red outlines.
Right.
It's a lot noisier. If we go to the 3 minute, look at that, all blue candles, a lot less noise.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, because there's a lot of things happening at one time on the 1 minute.
And then the 5 minute, you'll see even less noise. See? Blue arrow, blue candle, all the way up until here. A lot less noise.
Right. Okay, that makes sense too. Yeah.
And you got that +8 right there. So that can help you. A lot of people, someone in the chat today says, they get very nervous when they're scalping because there's so much going on. But sometimes getting up to those slightly higher levels, you don't want to get any higher than 5, but can filter out some of that noise.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'll try that because yeah, there's just so much going on in the 1 minute. Like within seconds, your channel can change so quickly.
Yeah. And don't forget, you can trade on the 5 minute, but then you've got to look at the 15 and the 30 for your confirmations.
Right. Okay.
So, you want to go up, technically you really want to go up 2 time frames from where you're trading. So if you're trading on the 1, you look at the 5. If you're trading on the 5, you look at the 30. But,
Okay.
if I'm
I'll try
looking
that.
at
Yeah.
if I'm looking at the 1, I do like looking at the 5 and the 3. If I'm trading on the 5, I do like looking at the 30 and the 15. I've still done my higher time frame analysis at the beginning of the session, but I don't have to do that before every trade.
Right. Okay. I'll try that. That makes a lot more sense.
Any little tips and secrets you'd like to impart, Jim?
Sorry, just muted here. Um, yeah, I mean, when I look at the higher time frames as well, is I look at because every time frame you go up, the more power and the more confirmed the different indicators are. And so, sometimes we struggle to get through some of the EMAs, but it's a lot easier to do on the 1. But on the higher time frames, the EMAs are even stronger. And so I like to try to not trade into an EMA on a higher time frame. And so I use the 5 or the 15 as well to make sure we're not hitting a major EMA, or maybe I'm getting my profit before we get to it or as we get to it. So I use the higher time frame as well to spot where the EMAs are there.
Yeah, great point. Great point.
And Cheney, you have a question in the chat. Why don't you unmute and ask?
Oh, yeah, I'm not looking at the chat, Jamie.
I will for sure. Thank you.
Hi,
Good morning, everybody.
Jamie.
Yeah, so I'm just sort of wanting your words of wisdom again on when it comes to passing my first challenge. Um, like any best advice. Something that I'm concerned about is lot sizes. I'm having a hard time mentally upping lot sizes, I guess. So yeah, I'm just looking for some wisdom there.
Well, I mean, the first thing with lot sizes is obviously get them correct in the first place.
Yeah. Chat, are you using chat mostly, or is that sort of the
Yeah,
recommendation?
I tend to go to that as my first thing. I just find it easier to use.
Okay.
And I just do it in that format that I gave. I say I'm trading on the 1 minute chart on the NAS 100. Current price is 22,666. My
Yeah.
account is $100,000. What would my lot size be, assuming that I want to risk 1% or 2%?
Right.
And just by doing that, I can do it on my phone while I'm watching the charts. I don't have to, I don't have to do, I don't have to, go to Baby Pips or go to any of these other ones on my computer. I can still be looking at my charts. So that's my preferred way of doing it. And also, very often with these charts, you have different ones for Forex, a different chart for indices, if you can find one, a different chart for gold, etc. Whereas ChatGPT, doesn't matter what you give them, it's always going to be correct.
Okay.
Another tip that you can have is you can set a schedule for yourself as to how you raise your lot size. So, for instance, it might be you might have a rule that if you win 4 out of 5 trades, you will double your lot size.
Okay.
Or if you win um, uh, 3 trades or 5 trades in a row, you will double your lot size. Um, Conversely, you have to have a rule that if you lose then you've got to halve your lot size. You've got to go back to where you
Oh,
started.
okay. Okay, I hadn't heard you say that before.
Yeah. So that is another way. As you get more experienced, you can set these targets for yourself on your lot size. Now, you do have to be careful, obviously, that you're not over leveraging yourself at all. And the bigger the target that you set yourself, the safer it is. So obviously, if you set it at, if I take 3 wins in a row, I'll up my lot size. Um, maybe you only up your lot size 10%. So if you're trading, 1.0, then you can move it up to 1.1 or 1.2. You don't have to go from one right up to two because, once you in the smaller amounts, if you're trading point 0.1, then going to point 0.2 is not that big. Going from point 0.2 to point 0.4 is not that big. As you get closer to that 1.0 standard lot, those changes can be quite heavy, and so you want to adjust those a little bit. So if you're going up to the 1.0 lot size, you probably don't want to jump right up to 2.0. You might want to do 1.1 or 1.2. And then if
Right.
you have a run of wins there, take it up to say 1.4. If you have a run of wins there, you could take it up to 1.6. But if you have some losses or setbacks, then you've got to come back to the level you were before.
Okay. Yeah, because right now for me it's feeling really big only because I've generally kept like on my demo account, kept my lot sizes quite small.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think maybe I need to play around with the demo account just a little bit more and start increasing those, just to get a better sense for what my live account will actually be doing.
Right. The other
Yeah,
thing you got to remember on your demo account is what is the leverage that you've got on it. Because very often, leverage
right.
accounts can have massive leverage amounts. So,
True.
when you're trading these small lot sizes, point one, point two, point five, you see some nice hefty wins. And then when you go to a funded trading account, the leverage, instead of being 1 to 100 or higher, it's only 1 to 30 or 1 to 20. So, you
Right.
put the same lot size in and you're like, oh, well, hold on a minute, I only won $3. In my demo, I
Yeah.
won $30 on that. Well, that's because your leverage on the demo is usually much, much higher unless you set it right at the beginning when you set up your demo account.
Yeah, I think the demo I feel like is 1 to 500
Yeah,
or
it could be
something
one
like
to
that.
500. If you don't change it, it's very, very high.
Hmm.
And in I forget which boot camp it is now, but my recommendation is always to when you set as you're in the process of setting up your demo account, is you
Hmm.
look for that leverage, and if it's adjustable, you want to whack it right down because it's going to be more realistic when you go to a
Okay.
live account or a funded account.
I'll keep that in mind for my next demo account.
Yeah,
If I start up another one, yeah. Hmm.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that's helpful for sure.
Yeah, and somebody did ask me in the chat, if I blow my demo, can I add money to my demo account? No, you can't.
No, we
You
can't.
just have
Yeah.
to start a new one.
Hmm.
So, you don't have to blow it to start a new one. You can just kind of abandon it and,
Yes. Yeah.
just start a new one. So if you have run it down pretty low and it's restricting how you trade, just abandon it and start another one.
Hmm. Okay. Great. Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else have anything they want to add or little tips or anything? We're getting at the top of the hour here, guys.
I have a with Cheney. So have you been into your platform, your trading platform for your prop account?
Um, no, because what I discovered was it there? No, it was on my Ox Securities, my cash account, not my funded account. that I discovered I'm going to have to use their app, so I need to learn that app. But no, I have not been into my other funded trading account. I've taken a couple small trades successfully, but that's about it at this point in time.
Okay. The reason I asked is because depending on the platforms that these funded trader accounts have you trading on, they work a little different than MetaTrader, and so you normally see, you know, the calculation of your
Oh, okay.
risk
Oh,
on the screen. I
okay.
haven't.
So I'm using MetaTrader for my funded account.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. So that's yeah. So like if you were using like C Trade or Trade Locker or something, you can
Right.
see the whole risk and you can change your lot size and everything. But with
Okay.
MetaTrader, obviously you have to calculate it. Obviously, if you set your stop, you can on MT5, you can see your risk as you set your stop. But
Right.
before you enter the trade on some of the other platforms, you can see it even before you enter. It's calculated there for you, and then you can make adjustments accordingly.
Okay. And
But
MT5, you're saying you can't do that. Okay.
not like Trade Locker or C Trader,
Right.
but
I
but
haven't had a
that's
chance to go in and learn Trade Locker yet. That's just,
that's
yeah.
fine. You don't have to. But I was
Yeah.
just wondering if you were using one of those,
Right.
then you do have that extra option as well.
Option.
Yeah, that's true. And a lot of, here in the States, a lot of people can't run funded trader accounts on MT4 or MT5. It's not an option.
Oh, okay.
So depending which company which prop firm you're going with, some of them you do have to use, Trade Locker or DX Trade or Match Trader or one of the others, C Trader. And sometimes at MT4, MT5 is not even an option.
Okay.
All right, guys, if there's no other
Okay,
questions, we're at the top of the hour.
thank you
Thank,
very much. It was
thank you
excellent.
very much for being on. I appreciate it. And